podcast, where we are regarded to as the starting five. We are powered by the Binge Podcast Network, and we are sponsored by Overtime Heroics. Let's be real about robbery.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's play Highway.
Hey,
Let's
highway
play
MLGNR.
Yeah, free woke.
Free woke.
Can't say Chiefs could be getting robbed by some people. Some people may think that, some people may not. We don't know.
Yes.
But first and foremost, I know we haven't really spoke about Breonna Taylor on this show, but just want to get justice for Breonna Taylor out there. I've been just make sure we keep that word spread out there.
Keep the name trending.
I think what the one officer was fired and the other two were just suspended. So we need arrests to come from this, but just be able to use this platform to speak her name and promote justice for her.
Well, and what's the lady that was like molested in the military? What was her name?
Vanessa again.
Vanessa.
Yeah,
How do we put out so much money, right, for like a prisoner of war? If someone was like not on military or not on U.S. soil, we would go and find that person, right? So much money for that.
Yeah.
But for someone, a woman, she's, black. We can't figure out what's going on here on our own soil. I rest my case.
What else I know said?
Yeah. It's not that we can't find it, it's that people don't care. Or they don't care, not us. We care, but they don't care.
Obviously. This is my first time hearing about that. Due to hearing about, we hear about stuff like Will and Jada.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Real stuff we need to hear about. But, man, we go down the top list today though. NFL, like I mentioned, Pat Mahomes signed a new deal. Then we'll go through. We made our top 10 quarterback list. We said which we'll go over at that point. After that, we go to NBA. Free Woj.
Free Woj.
That's all I got to say.
Free Woj.
UFC 251. Let's start talking to UFC on here. So we got some UFC fans. Got me into it last night too. So yeah. We're finished with either. I will come at that time. Depending on time, we might do both, or we have to do either or. Troll or not. We haven't done it in a while, or we have Would You Rather on the table also.
Okay.
But first up, we'll start with
Big money.
Big money.
Pat Mahomes.
I like
Big
it.
money, Pat Mahomes.
Yo, 503 big ones. $503 million over the 12 years. The stitching was 477 for 10 years. Along with his 2 years that he already has left on his rookie deal. Highest, biggest deal in sports history. All the sports. I think it's $140 million injury guarantee. And that's about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you hit all of that, buddy. Good job. Look at you. I need you to replace Adam Schefter out here. Oh man, I love the deal. I know some people, and even me included, I'll say that when you saw 12 years for Pat Mahomes, you're like, oh Jesus Christ, 12 years for like an NFL contract, that's almost like unheard of. It's been done before, but like it hasn't been done recently. So to see that like initially, like, dang, that's a long time for a player to commit to a team. But I think I can understand why he's committing to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they've set him up for success by having Andy Reid, by having the offensive coordinator there. I cannot remember his name because he's black and he's really good at it. There you go. So just knowing that you have those two good coaches like on your team as well, and they're doing whatever they can to help you achieve success down the road. I love the deal. I also love the deal just because he doesn't take all of that money right off the top or to start with. 40 million. He gets $40 million per year I guess in 5 years,
Starting.
yeah,
3 or 4 years into the deal.
yeah.
I think he get paid like $2 million something this year. Then it's 24
Yeah.
after that. Then I think 30 after that. Then
Right. So for the next 3 years, they're just not necessarily like cap heavy. Like they still have cap space to be able to like fix up different parts of the defensive line, be able to keep some of those receivers there. So I think that's the other thing that I liked about the deal. He didn't necessarily try to like rob the Kansas City Chiefs.
yeah.
He's doing what he can to make sure some of those players stay to make sure that they stay on the team. So I mean, I love the deal. Must be nice. I say the man won't need more money a day in his life. So I'm happy for him. It's a black quarterback as well too. So I'm all for it.
Let me see. I go. I'm with it. Half a bill, like to the best quarterback in the league, man. That shout out to the Chiefs for just recognizing his greatness and go ahead and just locking him down like 10 years. That's unheard of. Like the only time I heard of a 10-year contract is in baseball, you know. And like the Kansas City love him. Like even if it's just this one Super Bowl that they win, I think the contract, in my opinion, is still worth it because a lot of great players don't get a chance to even go to a Super Bowl. So the fact that Pat Mahomes is what his 4th, 5th year, something like that. Third year, and he already got a Super Bowl ring. Like that's already worth more than anything. So shout out to the Chiefs for recognizing his greatness. But of course, we want him to win another. But if you don't, in my opinion, it's still worth it because, like I said, he got him one.
It was their first one in 50 years. So
yeah.
He put Kansas City back on, bro. Like before Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Who were they?
Yeah, I go. My thing was 12 years, man. Like if you're a quarterback and you can get paid and your team want to pay you, go ahead, take the money, take the financial comfort, take the term comfort, and just take that money and roll with it. The thing about Pat Mahomes is that ain't nobody make more money than Pat Mahomes. So there literally is not a restarting of the market because when that happens, normally the quarterback that's paid the most is his salary gets bumped down, right? And so I mean, now you're looking at quarterbacks like Dak Prescott and
Deshaun Watson coming up.
So you're looking at these quarterbacks now, like they're not going to be making $40 million a year. That ain't happening. You're not better than Pat Mahomes. But it's putting other teams in a pickle, you know, in terms of like, do I want to give Dak Prescott 37, 38 million? That's right below Pat Mahomes. So that's a conversation that they're going to have in Houston and Dallas and maybe even Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. But I'm all for the 12 years. People are kind of turned off by the 12 years. Like, nah, go ahead, take your money, man. Take your money, take your years. Go ahead, buy you a house, get married.
You're saying, can I sign a deal with you for 12 years? You're like, okay, sign me up. Like,
right. And the fun thing about it, and I end it right here, is even if he outperforms that contract, he might outperform that contract. They're gonna have to pay him some more money. So
exactly.
That's true. That is true.
Wow. I've heard things. Oh, there you go, Trevor.
Oh yeah. Well, just for me, I think the years well deserved, the money well deserved. I think the thing that caught me the most was just the cap flexibility. Like this is all not coming off right off the top, which puts the Chiefs in position to still maintain some of their receivers, get some folks on the defensive line, as Skylar mentioned to earlier. So that was the main thing with me. But I'll be the petty one and remind the Chicago Bears that y'all guys could have had this situation. But instead, y'all traded up to number 2 and not only missed on Pat Mahomes, you missed on Deshaun Watson by taking Mitchell Trubisky. So I just wanted to throw that nugget out there. But again, man, kudos to Pat Mahomes. You know, we always love to see our black quarterbacks get paid and do what they're supposed to do best. So, hey, kudos.
Yep. To piggyback off of Savage's point about they're going to call for more money when he outperforms this, that would be the case. I've heard like the NFL salary cap is going to continuously go up, and it's going to come to a point that he's actually going to be getting underpaid at some point in time where players can start making $50 million a year, and it'll probably be him. So, yeah, this is going to be
Pat Mahomes is the market.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this. I know we don't play the potential game, but if there is a quarterback that can potentially make more than him, who would it be in y'all opinion?
Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson?
Interesting.
But I agree with that statement, but I just think that again because Pat Mahomes is so good.
Yeah, they're not.
I can't see anybody wanting to pay Deshaun Watson that money unless he just come out of nowhere and just balls again. He has to ball and get to a Super Bowl this year for that to happen. But I don't see that happening necessarily. So I think so. I don't see anybody passing that right now. Anyway,
we also didn't see one of the best receivers get traded for peanuts from that same team.
Yeah.
So you never know. My take about all this is they're like, you know, what we've already stated, but I guess the other obvious thing here is Dak Prescott didn't get signed yet, right? And now I hit it upon when me and Took did that interview. I talked about in the interview that how, to y'all's point, money is going up. There's an extra team in the playoffs. There's extra week in the NFL. NFL is going to get a lot more money. So to the point that you guys are making, like him being at that focal point about 40 to 45 million, eventually that is the top spot, but eventually that's not going to be the top spot anymore. The same case it was with Russell when Russell Wilson signed his deal, right? He was the guy until, you know, the next deal got signed. So I'm looking forward to see what happens. At this point, I could care less what Dallas does. We'll talk about that at a different time, a different day. It definitely won't. It might not be a 10-day deal at this point. Just shout out to Patrick Mahomes because within the 3 years, his resume is much better than some people's entire careers. Right? And so, is he deserving of this? Yes. And it is what it is. And who knows? He probably could have went to possibly 2 Super Bowls. Really?
Yeah.
You know, to be honest,
if D4
if D4
jump outside on the interception.
I mean, even like to take a look, he's a coin flip away from making it to the Super Bowl because that's the only.
He's an outside penalty.
Yeah, he didn't touch the field in the overtime game against the Patriots, and I think like a lot of us can say at Kansas City. I think a lot of us can probably say. I guess it's also hindsight 2020, but Kansas City probably would have beat the Rams in their Super Bowl too. So, great point. So he, like you said, he could have had 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dominic Lawson came out here.
No.
It doesn't reset the market, but Prescott and Watson would get more money now. Damn,
I hope not.
Totally agree.
I don't think so.
Somebody's gonna overpay for him.
Yeah, they're gonna get more. He's right. He's not saying
if Bill O'Brien doesn't want to pay D Hop, I don't think he's gonna pay Deshaun Watson exactly what he wants. I think somebody will, but I don't think Bill O'Brien will.
Yeah, I mean,
I got so low expectations for him. It don't make sense. Y'all.
Hey, please. I hope you know me as a Titans fan. Please. No, I'm praying.
For Dak, we know Jerry not getting Dak no more. We know Dak ain't giving them that much money, so you know.
I think in the Super Bowl either. So.
I think the one thing you could take from this signing is just the fact that, like, again, this is something the Cowboys should have done with Dak Prescott a year or 2 ago, right? I mean, not necessarily like giving him 10, 12, or 10 or 20-year contract, but again, like, you kind of see how the negotiations. It's much easier to do it when you're not right at the deadline. But again, this is something that should have been done with Dak Prescott. If you feel as if he was a quarterback, like, you should have did this 2 years ago. That's the only thing I took away from it. As far as the Cowboys are concerned.
And I look forward to what Lamar's contract will be. Lamar Jackson. I believe he'll be like the next. I think somebody asked that question. Who had the next like big contract? I think it's Lamar. He's 1 year MVP. You know, defense couldn't stop D. Henry, or else they might have been a little more contenders. But I think Lamar's the next one up for the contract. And the great thing I'm loving to hear is that we're talking about black quarterbacks. So we didn't say like Aaron Rodgers is the next one, or Drew Brees, or Carson Wentz, no offense, or Nick Foles. Like, we didn't say any of those quarterbacks. I love to see that the black QBs are setting the value for the market.
They're the best ones in the league.
I'm actually thinking about my list, which is going to segue into the session.
You go ahead, share your you can share your list, Savage. 6 months.
Right.
So,
what's up, Statage?
Okay.
All right, let me get it up.
We haven't got a PowerPoint presentation.
Love it.
You know it, man. Got to. All right, let me check on Facebook, see how it look.
right.
Make sure that we still good here. And all right, we good.
Bet.
All right. So, what went away from it? Hold on. There we go. All right. So, with the NFL offseason coming into July, it's getting close towards the season, and a lot of blogs and websites are doing top 10 lists. I know we saw like previously like a top 10 running back list, and Ezekiel Elliott was like somebody's high or faded whoever made that list. And so here at Let's Be Real podcast, I'm assuming that we as a unit would construct the realest top 10 for NFL quarterbacks. Am I right?
Right, status.
So, with that being said, we each made our top 10 quarterbacks, and I averaged them off based on each of our rankings. And so we're gonna go through our top 10 based on how we ranked them as a unit, and then I'm gonna get y'all's feedback from each one based on your perception of that quarterback as well as where they are in the listing on the top 10. So without further ado, let's get started. Number one, we talked about him before. I ain't gonna waste no time. Number one is Pat Mahomes. I mean, the $500 million man. We talked about him enough last segment, so I won't get into too much. But unless I got something else to say, hey, go for it.
We talked about him.
Yeah, we should.
All right.
We should do.
Right. Arguably already all time list.
All right. So Pat Mahomes, obviously number one quarterback in the league. I think he'll be up there for a very long time. Number two is a quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Can we guess?
Can you guess who it is? If y'all want to guess, y'all can.
Drew Brees.
Aaron Rodgers.
I heard Drew Brees. I heard Aaron Rodgers.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Easy.
Russell Wilson.
I say
Number
Aaron
two is indeed Sierra's husband, Russell Wilson.
Okay. Come on,
Now,
man.
some of y'all said Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. What's the perception of Russell Wilson at number two?
I believe Russell Wilson is one of those quarterbacks that defenses, they are up all day and all night trying to figure out how to stop him because he's that good of a quarterback. I think the reason some people may have him lower on the list than I do is because I guess statistically Russell Wilson isn't the best, but I think part of this is because they have a terrible offensive coordinator, they have a terrible offensive line, terrible offensive coordinator, and he's never just had like a real like number one receiver, but he's legit.
Yeah, he was taking on my list also.
Yeah, I actually had Aaron Rodgers too, and I actually had Russell at 3. But everything that you just said about Russell Wilson, you can basically say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. Like defenses, like are up all night trying to figure out how they're going to stop Aaron Rodgers, and the same thing can be said for Russell Wilson. So I don't have an issue with him being 2. Like I said, I actually had him 3, so it wasn't that far off. So you easily could swap Aaron Rodgers and Wilson in that. I
feel like Wilson is interchangeable between 2 and 3. Like I feel like he's a top 10 quarterback. Period. Like I'm fine where he is.
Yeah, what you about to say too?
So in y'all mindset, did y'all go is like the best pure quarterback or the best quarterback that will have like ranking wise the next best season? You know what I'm saying? Like who will be the best next season? Did y'all do it like
I did
projection wise or is like just period? Like,
but I said both. Like just like based on like their talent and just their projection for them next season.
Yeah.
So the reason I went with Breeze, I actually went with Breeze for number 2. People may kill me because of what he did, a couple of weeks ago. But I think that's gonna actually add fuel to the fire, especially when you look at all the pieces that the Saints have as well. Like the Saints are literally a couple of plays away from the Super Bowl the last couple of years, and I think what happened with Drew the last couple of days, last couple of weeks ago, is either gonna hurt him or it's gonna motivate him. And I think with Drew Brees being at the end of his career, he wants another ring, and I think this is gonna be the motivating factor in getting him in. So,
and for me, I had number 2 here. I make sure I had my list. Thank God I took a screenshot. Was Aaron Rodgers. I think Russell Wilson. He's my 3rd anyway. Aaron Rodgers is here based upon his stats. I'm looking TD to interception ratios. No, Statage, what happened? But anyways, I chose him because of that. I also believe, to your point too, but what you're saying, like, what's going on next year? Green Bay drafted a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers is like, wait, what? Like, I've been Green Bay since we had Brett Favre, and you made Brett Favre like was the guy, and then Aaron Rodgers came, right? But Aaron Rodgers has been dominating Green Bay, so his replacement has come. And I think he's ready to ball out this year. And I think the NFC is in trouble with Green Bay, to be honest. And I think Russell Wilson will do well too. But I think, to y'all's point, the Seahawks don't have that number one receiver as opposed to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has D. Adams, and D. Adams can go get it in double coverage, where as you look at the Seahawks roster, they don't have much, which could potentially say Russell Wilson could be better, right? Because he doesn't have the premier receivers or tight end that he did, especially as he began his career with the Doug Baldwin. And who was that albino he had?
Well, he had Doug Baldwin. He had
Hurst.
he also had Tyler
Jimmy Graham.
Lockett. He's there now.
Jimmy Graham.
His weapons.
Yeah, so DK may have his best weapon.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's why I chose Aaron Rodgers. I think Rodgers has some stuff to prove. And both teams, both players, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, have winning records against the Cowboys. So I mean, it is what it is.
I just really wish he had some form of a coordinator.
Russell,
He's just not had a good coordinator. Like it's been so frustrating. Like they just like, here you go, Russell Wilson, make a play, and that's literally all they do. It's just like, come on, man, come up with something, and so this man is not running around all day and all night.
And back to Sheedy's point, it's kind of the same with Aaron Rodgers because they play calling ain't exactly ever been with Mike McCarthy or now.
Okay,
never
he's back.
Feed him, so
all right.
So they go tea for tat.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is 3.
Hey, Statich.
I don't think we can.
Yeah, I don't know what happened on the internet. But are y'all done wrapping up with Wilson?
Yeah.
Good done.
All right.
Let's get done.
All right, bet. All right, so number 3. This guy just won MVP this year for the Baltimore Ravens. None other than Lamar Jackson is number 3. High for my taste, but he's top 3 to some people. So whoever had him up there, talk to me.
It's projections, man.
Yeah, y'all talk.
Yeah, it's a lot of projection. I think for me, it was their progression from year one to year two. Like that was a very huge step that he took. I mean, him being able to, of course, lure defenders here and there. His pocket presence was better. Him being able to deliver the ball. He has some inaccuracy issues, but again, I think it was so much better from the first year. So a lot of mine was more projection, but again, it was also based off what he did for his MVP year.
And also for me,
I agree.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, because for me, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is my favorite player, and he was my favorite quarterback until Pat Mahomes came into the picture. But especially last year, Aaron Rodgers' season, it was still good, but by his standards, he kind of, I did see a little chink in the armor. Like, okay, is he still as good as he once was, and that's what made me choose him. Projecting forward, that's what made me end up choosing Lamar Jackson.
It definitely. I'm definitely one of the ones that put Lamar Jackson in my top 3 too, just based off projection, the increase, like you said, Skylar, and like he's the Mike Vick of our generation. Like nobody can literally stop this dude, and the sky's the ceiling for this dude. So definitely my top 3.
I had him at 5. I am okay with him at 3. I had him at 5 because I feel like he wouldn't be better than the guys that I had ahead of him, but I am okay with him at 3.
And my 3 to 5 was changeable. My 5 could have very well been 3. So
yeah,
it was a flip of the coin for them 3.
Yeah. For me, one, I love that the top 3 are black.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Different times, man. Different times.
Yeah. Now, the only part I have on Lamar is I need to be sold on his arm strength year after year, right? And so, like, Patrick Mahomes has been in the league, and I don't want to know the stats exactly, but I'm pretty sure he's put up at least 4,500 passing yards back-to-back years, right? Whereas Lamar Jackson's more 4,500 scrimmage yards. Right, and so eventually those legs are going to give out.
Are they?
His accuracy has been there
in his 3rd year.
I'm the same as Russell Wilson, though. Russell Wilson is scrimmage yards also.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson, he scrambles just to throw the ball.
Yeah.
or like for like 10 yards and he slides.
Yeah, he'll bootleg for a 40-yard post. But I'm here with Lamar. I'm cool with it because at the end of the day, he was our MVP of the league, so I respect it. He's just a little higher for me,
You had him at 6, Sheedy.
Yeah, exactly. I saw the list. Yeah, I had him at yes, I did at 6, and I said, and he won't be past 6. But I just went over like totality, right? Resume, and that's really what it came down to. But we'll, talk about it later.
So this looks like my list so far.
It is, man.
What you got, Trevor?
What you got?
I like Savage also had Lamar Jackson at 5. I just think that just as we was talking about with the arm strength and things of that nature, the guys that I had above him were much better than that. And then also with speculation, his improvement from year 1 to year 2 was amazing, and of course him winning MVP, which is one of the reasons why I had him top 5. So
yeah.
All right.
Number 4.
Number 4. Get my slide sort of work. All right. So at number 4, we had another former MVP Super Bowl champion. Are we sure he will be with his team in the next year or so? Because his team drafted a quarterback. Number 4 is the bad man, Aaron Rodgers, at number 4. Thoughts on that?
Let's get him back to number 2.
I'll let y'all go.
A-Rod.
I'll let y'all go.
Huh?
I'll let y'all go.
Hey, Rod, let's get back to number 2 this year, man. Yeah, man. I know, man.
2 and 4 can definitely be interchangeable. I'm okay with him at 4.
Yeah.
In his case.
For reference, y'all, 2 had him at 10.
Shit.
I really did. I really
2 had him
did.
at 10.
You go then.
One word. Overrated. Overrated.
Why 2? Why?
What has he done for me lately? That's all I got to say about Aaron Rodgers. He's a great
number 1 seed in the conference last year.
He ain't doing it. You feel like dude? He ain't doing enough for me.
NFC Championship just last season.
He ain't doing enough for me. And like I said, it's just based on I did my list based on projections for next season. I don't think he's gonna have a good season next season.
Wow.
Prove me wrong, but yeah, I had him top 10 for sure. But I don't think he's gonna have a good season. I don't think he's gonna have a good season next season. I don't.
No, I actually had Aaron Rodgers at 6, and I feel like it's time for me to go because as much of an Aaron Rodgers fan I am, I actually have no problem with him being at 4. I love him being at 4, but I had him 6 based off. There was a couple quarterbacks I had before him, but I think 2 has a point. I mean, statistically, of course, like we've already talked about like the lack of a genius of a coach that he's had, whether it be head coach or offensive coordinator. He necessarily doesn't have the weapons, but I think at the end of the day, statistically, he's had a decline every single year over the past like 2 or 3 years, which is why I had him at 6.
Yeah,
part of the reason I had him at 6. But 2 has a point.
I had him at 5, man.
Yeah,
similar reasons, but I still, like I said, my 3 to 5, he could have very well been 3 on my list.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I just chose Lamar Jackson, and I ain't gonna speak the other name, but
I don't see Aaron Rodgers being below 7.
Sheedy had him at 2.
I don't see Aaron Rodgers being below. Aaron Rodgers is of course, he's undefeated against Dallas. So,
low key bias in the other way, but okay.
I have to give this man his respect too. Like, not only what we haven't talked enough about. So, if we're going to be real, let's be really real. I'm not talking about his receivers anymore because we've had that. But if you look as well as the offensive line that Aaron Rodgers has had, he has literally been seasons where his both offensive tackles, starting tackles, have not been with him. And that is huge for a quarterback. You have to have a strong left tackle when you're a right-handed quarterback. And then your other tackle has to be there too. But they've had interchangeable lineups with their linemen for a couple of years, realistically. And so I believe Aaron Rodgers has much more to prove, not only just because of the offensive line, but really with that draft and how he feels about being in Green Bay. I feel like they are trying to kick him out of Green Bay. I put him at 2. I don't see him any lower than 7. I guess I'll work with y'all a little bit, but there ain't no way on God's green earth. On God's green earth is he anywhere close to being at the bottom of the 10 count. No,
I think his best days are past. Like,
that's
just me. That's just me.
Even his best days behind him, 10 is low for me.
like I said, I did mine based off projection. Like, just like you said, he don't want to be in Green Bay. Green Bay don't want him.
Yeah.
So
let me spit this out really quick. Since 2016, Aaron Rodgers touchdown to interception ratio. He had 40 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2016, 16 and 6, 2017. That was the year he was hurt.
Yeah.
25 and 2, 2018, and 26 and 4 last year. So this is touchdown interception ratio, which again that's higher than almost anybody. I mean, he hadn't thrown more than 5.
He don't throw it.
He doesn't throw many interceptions. But I think the thing that I'm not liking from him, and I hate that I'm stealing this from Colin Coward, but Aaron Rodgers is number 1 in throwaways. So he's not taking the passes that Pat Mahomes, that Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson are. And I think he's accurate enough to complete those passes, but he's throwing a lot of these passes away.
That's a good point.
You much rather throw it away than
I'd
throw it to a
rather throw it
receiver you
away.
don't trust.
Yeah. Then they have that Jameis curse.
Coaches always say in your possession with a kick, an extra point, field goal, or a punt. So hey, Rodgers do, man. I actually had Rodgers at 6. I'm fine with him in at least in top 5 because I mean it's Aaron Rodgers, man. Like let's be real. All right, number 5. I actually had number 5 at number 2. Y'all know how I feel about this quarterback. He is the GOAT. He went from New England to Florida and Tampa Bay. Tom Brady is at 5.
I think he was my 5. No, he was my 4. Yeah, he was my 4.
I have Brady at 6.
Come on.
So can I go first? Can I go first?
I was gonna say I had him at 7.
I had him
Can
at
I
7.
go first?
I had him at 4.
So I feel like Brady, you go from being impoverished to wealth offensively. You got Godwin, you got Gronk, you got is OJ Howard still there?
Yep.
Him,
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. You got the coach. I forgot the coach's name. Aaron is an offensive guru. This division is going to be on the decline. Like Tom Brady is a top 2 quarterback to me. He's better than Lamar Jackson. He's better than Aaron Rodgers. He's tit for tat with Russell Wilson, but I'll take Brady over Wilson. So I don't know how he would be top like number 5 in my opinion.
So based on projection, yes, he do got a whole lot of better supporting cast, but he's still 43. And pardon me, last season is still saying, yeah, he didn't have supporting cast, but also I think he's on the decline. And he's not going to be as good as we possibly think this year, even with increased weapons.
Everything that Savage just said is the only reason Tom Brady's in my top 10. Like,
that's
of course,
I feel that.
Greatest quarterback of all time, but like the only reason he's in my top 10 this year is because of like what I think he could do over the next year or two. But I mean, like Sharky said, the man is over 40. Like he was not good last year. He has not been good for me over the past 2 years. You're right. So that's everything Sam says is the only reason he's in my top 10.
I got a quick question.
Do
y'all tend to perform better when you're happy or when there's hostility at work?
When you're freaking happy, and that's why Aaron Rodgers is my 10. That is why Aaron Rodgers is my 10.
Good point. You had that ready.
Good one, man. Made it a lot better for me. But then I'll go even with Tom Brady, like everything that Savage said with the weapons and everything. Like he's gonna be happier, and he's gonna be in a week. I say in a week of the
in Florida, man.
He's in Florida. He's chilling. Yeah, even when he was with the Patriots, he was in a weaker division in the AFC North. Like he's coming to the NFC South, and he may be number 1 in the division, despite him being 43. He got all them weapons. It's him to lose, really, at this point.
Tom Brady don't take sacks, man. He gonna sit back there in that pocket, do his taxes, braid somebody's hair, and throw dots.
And not to mention the Bucs are top 3 defense. So looking good for him.
If I could go, man, the reason everything you said about Tom Brady is the reason why he's in the top 10. I had him at 6 because of what Bart calls the pause for me is this stat right here. So Jameis Winston had the 2nd most sacks in the league last season, and as part of the Buccaneers. Last time I didn't hear anything about Tampa Bay addressing this offensive line.
They drafted one.
Yes,
okay, they drafted one. So he's probably unless he's gonna come in and make a huge impact, I can't. It's just everything just looks like you said. Tom Brady has been good over the past 3 years. He's 43, yeah, he has all these weapons, but is this offensive line is going to do a really good job of protecting him? And
I don't think it's fair to compare Brady and Winston in that aspect because Winston waits forever to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he got 5,000 yards, but most of them were bummers. You know, him waiting to the last second to tear it out like he's been doing his whole career. So I don't think it's fair because Brady is somebody boom, 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 bop.
Yeah,
Winston's like
Winston going downfield every throw.
You know, I can barely see anyway,
I
but I'm gonna still launch that mud and hope God somebody catch it. Like I don't think it's fair to compare them to at that aspect.
Hey, before Sheedy go, for the sake of time, Savage, after Sheedy goes, just do 6 through 10. Did we discuss?
Gotcha.
I had Thomas at 5 as well. But then after I hit send, because it was after 9 o'clock, I hit send. Then I realized there's a report that came out. To your point, Trevor, what you're talking about right now, I think we can get some more tread on this story, but the offensive tackle that was drafted by the Buccaneers, I don't believe actually wants to play due to COVID-19. But we
might not have a season period,
right?
Yeah.
And so, to your point, Trevor, what you're saying about the sacks, and two, I know what you're saying. Like, Jameis does hold that thing, and he's looking for a 60-yard bomb because he got something to prove. If that offensive tackle doesn't play, the Buccaneers will still win the division too. So I don't want you to get your panties in a bunch, okay?
I've been said that. I've been said that. What you talking about?
You might not be as thorough as what we're saying right now. Is all I'm saying, because the offensive line is truly a huge reason why Thomas can be as well, why these quarterbacks can be as good as they can be, if not better. If Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, these other quarterbacks have better offense, Russell Wilson, every other play for Russell Wilson is a bootleg, right? Because they don't have an offensive line.
Exactly.
So we'll see how strong the offensive line is for them to make this up for them. But yeah, I had Thomas at 5 though. I agree.
I did.
Oh
Man,
Pops. What's going on, sir?
What up, Dr. Sharkey?
You don't need to hear what Trevor said about the Bears earlier.
I don't even know. Bears.
I got ready for the 6 through 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fly through them real quick. At number 6, we got who I call the baby goat. I call him Mahomes. Before Mahomes, we got Carson Wentz at number 6.
Okay.
At number 7, we got this guy. He's in the division with Tom Brady. Slick was on a decline last year, but he threw Mike Thomas the ball almost every play. We got Drew Brees at 7. Next up at number 8, he's actually not on my list, which is interesting. I think a couple other guys didn't have him on the list either. So I'm curious to hear about this. Deshaun Watson is at 8.
I mean, Jesus.
He's not even on
Right.
Watson is at 8. So,
Oh wait, I'm one on. I'm one on.
all right. At number 9, we don't know if he's gonna even be in the Lone Star State within the next year or so. We got Dakota Daiquiri Rain Prescott.
Daiquiri.
Number 9. And last but not least, now I got a problem with this.
Hold
We can
on.
get through everything. Number 10. Number 10 is who they call kinfolk Kurt Cobain cousins. Let me go real quick, y'all. So we got Mahomes at 1, Wilson at 2, Jackson at 3, Rodgers at 4, Brady at 5, Wentz at 6, Breeze at 7, Watson at 8, Prescott at 9, Cousins at 10. Before we get to Cousins, let's get to Deshaun Watson because I don't have him on my list for this reason. One, the offensive line is terrible. Like, ugh. 2, D-Hop is gone. So he ain't got
number 1.
3, Deshaun Watson don't want to be in Houston. Quiet as kept. He don't want to be in Houston. That's 3. 4, Bill O'Brien is the head coach. I rest my case.
Hold on, can I?
Y'all go ahead.
Let me add this real quick because everything Sab just said is one of the reasons why I didn't have him on my list. And 5, The game against Kansas City, like that's
Me
inexcusable.
and you
I ain't
agree.
gonna get there.
Yeah, 21-0. That's inexcusable against Kansas City. I'm sorry.
You got to score. I mean, you got to keep scoring, bro. But
Yeah,
here's number
exactly.
4, man. I'm hoping he's not top 10 because he's in my division, of course. He's the best quarterback in my division. So, of course, I'm hoping he doesn't have a top 10 season. As a Titans fan, I would love that. So, if I had number 4, man, just based on projection, I still believe, even without D-Hop, I just think that pass he made against New Orleans Saints week 1, that hit, it should have won the game. I can't get that pass out of my head. That's why he number 4, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, to see he is on this list at 8 is, I mean, I had him top 5. So I mean, he's in my top 5 because I just think talent-wise, he's just that good. I know his offensive line is probably the worst on this list. But I think because his talent level is so good that sometimes it kind of balanced it out a little bit. And I think he's made so much of a stride with his ability to run, his ability to make throws down the field. Oh, since he got drafted, and even then, I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks to be drafted in the year. But I think he's going to be really good. And I don't think Bill O'Brien is going to be there after this year, which is why I still had him at 5.
And Bill O'Brien,
he's coach at GM, bro. Like, unless ownership fire.
And I think I'm not sure. Go back where we ain't gonna talk more about Bill O'Brien, but I think Bill O'Brien does consistently make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And to me, even as a Titans fan, and I love all the moves they made, it makes them worse. I still am scared of Texans making playoffs because they consistently get there, like 9, 7, 10, and 6, no matter what happens. Because of Deshaun Watson.
Oh, so I'm gonna spend my breath. I'm not gonna talk about Deshaun. I'm actually gonna talk about Drew.
Drew Bird. What's his name?
I didn't put Drew on my list.
I had him on mine.
I didn't see that shit.
I didn't put Drew Brees on my list.
You've been hard on Drew Brees.
I have been. I really have been. And to address your father, if you look down at this roster of names you see, sir, you'll notice that none of these players will ever play for Chicago Bears. But like Drew Brees, I really feel like I've been really hard on Drew Brees. I call Drew Brees more like the James Harden of the NFL. Like you might have a good regular season, but you don't do nothing when it comes to the playoffs. And so to me, as a quarterback, it counts in the playoffs. Now, don't get me wrong. I know he's got a Super Bowl victory. Please, I know. They play Peyton Manning. I remember the Super Bowl. But I don't see him having a top 10 season next year. Again, don't get your panties in a bunch too, because I still don't think the Panthers are better than them. However,
how many times you got? I mean, I agree with you, bro. How many times you gonna bring it up?
But so I just don't see. I don't see him as a top 10 quarterback on the list. That's me.
Okay.
Any other comments about Drew Brees or Deshaun Watson?
I said what I said about Drew earlier. Like, I think he's gonna be motivated more than ever, and if he don't win one next year, he probably won't for the rest of his career. So I think he's gonna come in with that extra energy. As far as Deshaun Watson go, literally Savage. Everything that you said, I couldn't agree with more.
Yeah,
like I don't see him having a top 10 season next year, and I rock with Deshaun Watson. Like I rock with him for sure.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm a big fan.
I've drafted the past 2 years of fantasy, so I know, man. So
I can't see him as a top 10 quarterback next season.
Yeah, real quick, I'll get through Wentz, Prescott, and Cousins. With Wentz, I actually had him at I had him at 4. I'm okay with him in like 6. I thought he's a top 5 quarterback. I think Skyler had him at 4 too. So shout out to Skyler. Wentz at 4.
Gary, he carried garbage bags to the playoffs.
But what's funny about Dak Prescott, y'all? Guess who had Dak Prescott the highest on their list?
No.
Tevin McInnes.
Wow.
Who had Prescott at 6? And GD, you had him at 10, right?
Yeah. He barely made it.
Yeah, he was 9 on mine. Oh, sorry.
Here's what I want to understand. As much as I talk crap about the Cowboys, Sheedy, you know how I feel about that. I've always said I want him to be great. Have I not?
Yeah, you have.
He was like close to 5. What was it? Close to 4,000 or 5,000 yards. Like you can't disregard that. And when you got somebody like Dalton like coming on your ass, it's like you're gonna have to put up a shut up. So I'm expecting him to put up this season, regardless of if he's a Cowboy next season. I think this year that's gonna be a top 6 quarterback.
Two.
Appreciate it.
Where'd you
What's
have
up?
Kirk Cousins at?
I had Kirko at
So I'll tell y'all
Eight.
the funny business within this
Adam
list.
8.
So
I had
as
him
far
at
as who
10.
had Cousins on this list, Sheedy had Cousins at 9. Took had Cousins at what? 8.
8. Mhm.
And then Trevor had Cousins at 10. First of all, can I say something real quick? Because I feel like this is just ridiculous. Ben Roethlisberger is better than Kirk Cousins. That's not kid I said.
He's had a better career.
I'm surprised.
So then your other
He
three
was
should
hurt. He was
have made it then.
Exactly.
So why didn't Ben make the list?
Why didn't you make the list, y'all?
So
I
I
had
him
him
at 4.
okay. So
it balanced it out probably.
so me, 2, and Trevor definitely got Kirko in.
Yeah, so
So
people
1, 2, 3
who had
didn't
been
get
on
it.
their list, I had been at 10, Skylar had been at 10, and Trevor had been at 4.
He was living.
Ah,
Damn.
Trevor, I'm trying to think about you, son.
I need to judge that you immediately.
Okay, here's the reason I had been in for. It was clearly speculated on what's going on, what's going to come up this upcoming season. I feel that a lot of the times in the past few years where Ben throws a lot of his interceptions, and Skylar can attest to this, he throws a lot of his interceptions trying to force the ball to Antonio Brown.
I agree with that.
So now, with him coming back, with him having, it's not going to be the same as Triple B's, but he has a decent receiving core. I think Juju is going to have a better season now that Ben's back. I always raved about James Washington. If we put Chase Claypool at tight end, that's the second decent tight end we can have on the squad now that we've signed Eric Ebron. If James Carter stays healthy and if Ben can stay on the field, I really think Ben can have a really good season because he'll have more weapons to spread the ball around as opposed to having the Triple Bs where he's always having to force the ball to AB. He's always have to get the ball to Le'Veon in some shape or form. And then to pair that with how the defense played last year, and despite having no quarterback in the standout defense, we went 8-8. Could have easily been, like I said, 10-6, 9-7. I really expect if Ben can stay healthy, and this also depends on his health. If he can stay healthy and stay on the field, I really think he can have a top 5 year this year. So
Yeah, I think I agree with pretty much everything you said. I just wasn't bold enough to put him in top 5. I think like the last time Ben was on the field, he put up 5,000 yards passing. And again, like you said, like the reason he has so many interceptions is he forces the ball to AB. Well, AB is no longer there, and so again, I think that's the one thing about the Steelers that I'm questionable about. I think it's how young the wide receiver core is, but they're really good at least in my opinion. I'm trying not to be biased when I say that, but I think they're fairly good. Like you said, he has a really good defense, so I think he could have a top 10 season. But he barely made my top 10 because last time he was on the field, he put up 5,000 yards. That's why.
Okay.
Who were the Triple Bs? Bell, Brown, and who else?
Ben.
Oh, and Ben. Oh, you put him in. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, Cam Newton number 2.
So the finish.
I got him at 11.
Yeah. Once you get to like that 9-10 range, like I said, my list 10 through 8 might as well have been a coin flip, real talk.
So speaking of that, Sharky, I'm gonna have y'all go through like the outliers on y'all list real quick. So I'll go first, then I'll go to Sharky, Sheedy, Skylar, Took, and then Trevor. So my outlier on this list at number 9 is Josh Allen. And I'm not looking at me crazy, but Josh Allen has a new wide receiver in Diggs. And I feel like this is his first year in the playoffs, first taste of the playoffs. He actually played pretty okay in the playoffs. That division is wide open now with New England not as good anymore. Dolphins got a rookie quarterback. Jets are terrible. I mean, we ain't got to talk about the Jets. So I think Josh Allen is going to be prime for like a top 10 year. I had him at 9. Sharky, you had Kyler Murray at 10. What's up with that?
Projection. He was rookie of the year last year. The best, arguably the best, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the game, along with Larry Fitzgerald, who still can catch any pass to come his way, and Kenyon Drake in the backfield.
Yep.
Okay. Projections. So.
I can rock that.
All right, Sheedy, you had Rivers at 7. He didn't even make the list. So what's up with Rivers?
So I guess it goes to the point of like, what is top 10 quarterback and what's going on next season? Like, there's a lot that goes into that. But if you look not at his wins and losses, right? If you look at like his stats, and just erase the name and the face. Phillip Rivers puts up some pretty great numbers. With some arguably okay talent. Keenan Allen definitely probably his best receiver that he's had. He's enjoyed some years with LT too. Is Phillip Rivers high on the list? Yeah, but I also think he'll have a resurgence with Indianapolis this upcoming year with TY. And so I'm gonna keep that there. I think Phillip Rivers is, if not a top 10 quarterback, definitely a top 12. I'm not dipping past 12 for Phillip Rivers because he's a proven winner. Now I get it. He doesn't win, the big games, playoff games. I hear that part. But again, if you're just looking at stats, not wins and losses, but just stats, Phillip Rivers is definitely a top 12 quarterback in this upcoming season.
Okay. Scott, you talked about Ben, but you had Wentz at 4. I just want to hear somebody else's opinion about Carson Wentz aside from mine.
I feel like looking at this list 1 through 10, I believe Carson Wentz is, as far as accuracy is concerned, he's definitely top 5. I mean, you could probably say top 3. I think Carson Wentz accurately is really good. He has a big, strong arm. I mean, he has the talent. I think the reason he's not top 3 or he's in a lot of people's top 5 is because of injury. Yep. But I mean, if you look at what Carson Wentz took to the playoffs, he took himself to the prom. And that was it. He took himself to the prom, and that was amazing that he did that. So that's the reason he's that high on my list.
He's basically Big Ben 2.0.
Yeah.
And Josh and a little bit of Josh Allen.
Yeah. Quick little fact for y'all. Deshaun Watson has missed, I think, 10 games. Carson Wentz has only missed 8. I'm just saying.
Wow.
All right, Took, your list.
Go ahead.
Your list.
Go ahead. I already know which one.
So
I already know which one.
Took had Cousins had 8. We already know about. I'm gonna ask Trevor about Cousins, but you had Baker at 9. Over Aaron Rodgers.
I got Baker in that list.
Wow.
I knew it.
I knew it.
Now, Took, I love Baker.
3 quarterbacks.
Baker. But over Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, man.
I told y'all I did my list based off of who I think is gonna have the best seasons the next season. I think for sure Baker Mayfield will have a better season than Rodgers. But if you look at how I looked at Baker play last year, he was with a rookie head coach, and I think he thought too much. I think this year, his 3rd year, I think he's gonna think less and just do more. And I think when doing more and you add, somebody like Austin Hooper, who's very consistent in what he does, he may be a top 3 tight end in the whole league. I think with all those weapons around him and the defense, who most of them were hurt anyway, I think the Browns could make some noise next year. And I think Baker's going to be a big part of that. So, y'all know I'm rocking with Baker.
Okay, Austin Hooper's good, but 3?
Now, Took, that Ertz, Kittle, Ertz, and Kelsey. Right. And everybody else.
Yeah, 4. I give you
okay, 4. Top 5. But still, top 5 on a team with Odell and Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb.
I got
with somebody that's actually pretty accurate with the ball, despite what other people say.
He is accurate with the ball. Yeah, I get you that.
He's gonna have a top 10 next season. And Mark, we're gonna come back to this list.
Okay.
Did you have Ben on your list as well?
Absolutely not.
All right, Trevor, round us out with Kirk.
Kirko.
I would be honest, man. It was really difficult choosing this last spot. So I literally had to flip a coin because I was deciding between him and Dak Prescott on who to put on this list. And just looking at the numbers, yes, Dak has better numbers and things of that nature, but you could tell just over the course of the past few years, Dak numbers has gone down. Kirko just finds a way. I don't know how, but he just finds a way to get it done. He doesn't have the sexiest numbers. He doesn't have nothing about the game is sexy, but just somehow, some way, he just finds a way to get it done. And I think him going to New Orleans last season and beating New Orleans in the fashion that they did, along with the coin flip, which is why I had
along with the coin flip. Hey, shout out to the coin flip. What they land on tails?
Yeah.
I got
We're gonna revisit this top 10 list and see how these top 10 quarterbacks perform. But that's the Let's Be Real top 10 quarterbacks for the 2020-2021 season.
And we will post this list after this episode.
Let us know who
social media
you felt should have been on, who should have been off, and why. So hey, let us know, man.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, Blue was laughing at someone for the top 3.
Top 3. Probably for Russell Wilson being in the top 3.
Who? Yeah, you about to get
Who he
kicked
said?
out this.
He said because he thought it was in reference to Russell Wilson.
You know, I can kick you.
That's what he laughing at. He said Russell Wilson. I didn't have him in my top 3 window. I'm with you.
Gotta wait.
All right, then next up, Trevor, NBA, free Woj.
Free Woj.
Indeed. So for those that don't know who Woj is, that is ESPN NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Probably the most reliable source for all your things NBA basketball. So what happened was he received an email from Republican Senator Josh Hawley. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, of Missouri.
Wow.
Basically, the senator was saying that he was protesting. He was protesting the NBA's decision to allow the players to display messages on the back of their jerseys for social justice and Black Lives Matter. And he basically came out and said that he was going to write a letter to Adam Silver asking that these players start doing the exact same thing for the police and the military. Yes, the same police that kills innocent Black people every day. Yes, the same military that raped and killed Vanessa Guillen, and they tried to cover it up by chopping her body up. And Woj, being the woke man that he is, responded with the 2 most prominent words you can respond in the most profane way possible. Basically hit him with the middle finger and everything. Of course, immediately after he came out and apologized, which I felt he shouldn't. And then as of yesterday, he was suspended without pay from ESPN. So your thoughts?
Free Woj.
Free
Woj.
He's on vacation. I see a lot of people joking saying he's on vacation. I mean, basically, he does so much to break the news before draft picks are announced and all the news, the real NBA news. So, hey, he does on a little vacation, man. He'll be up.
I love how savage it was for him to send that jump from his iPhone. Like, he didn't even care to remove that part. When he sent it, it was
personal.
Sent from my exactly. It was extremely personal. No, he didn't care. I definitely appreciate like him being woke. I guess woke Woj. There you go. I definitely about what the senator said. So I'm totally in agreement with what he said.
Yeah, salute to Woj, man. I got so much respect for him, so much more respect for him for this.
For sure.
But I can understand ESPN suspending them. Of course, they've done a lot worse to other people. But when you're somebody like Woj, like if this was a Black person, they probably would have been fired. And we all know probably that just based off of what they've done in the past. But because of Woj and his prestige and his attitude towards everything and how we feel about him. You know what I'm saying? Just a suspension, a paid vacation is the least we can do for him. So shout out to ESPN for giving him that.
Woj is the reason we're watching ESPN for NBA news. So
right,
keep it 100.
We got him subscribed to your phone. Subscribe.
He was on Woj back on the Yahoo days, man. Like, he'll be all right.
That's what it was. It was the Woj F-bomb. That's what it was. Salute to Woj, man. Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, we need more allies.
Yeah,
and that's you can't be worried about what can happen because you want to be an ally to stand up for what's right. So thank you, Woj, for doing what you do, and to many more of us, we need to be like Woj, to be honest, and step up and like not be worried about consequences and repercussions at this point.
Right.
So free quote.
In a way, I kind of don't see how he got suspended though, because that was supposed to be a private exchange between 2 people.
Right.
It's the fact it got made public.
It's the fact it got out.
Inside stuff get public.
Same way Deshaun.
You gotta do something.
True. So pay vacation. I feel you.
Similar to, like she just said, we're not talking about the Deshaun Jackson situation today, but similar to that, like it gets out.
Now it's public.
Yeah.
Now it's something.
Now it's something. I feel you. Pay vacation for sure.
Yep. Well, next up, UFC Scholar.
All right. So we named the podcast in which we did. It's because most of us were watching UFC 251. I know Savage is the reason I got put on, and then everybody. I mean, we all been watching.
I came back to it, so yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Dana White, probably one of the best commissioners in the game.
Sure.
You know that.
Yeah.
So he put on a really nice card yesterday. And so the reason we're bringing it up is because we feel like one of the fighters was robbed from a win yesterday. So specifically the Volkanovski and the Holloway 2 rematch. That was the match that we're referring to. So these two fighters actually fought back in December. And it was a pretty, I think Volkanovski won, in my opinion. I watched it actually early in the day. And I feel like he won that. He should have been a split decision, really. But I thought he fairly won the fight. So they ran it back again. And Max Holloway came out with much more confidence. He came out with a better game plan against Volkanovski. In my opinion, he won the fight 4-1. But some people carded it as 3-2 Holloway. But I think a lot of people at the end they thought Holloway should have won the fight, and Volkanovski ended up winning the fight. So I guess what are y'all opinions about that fight specifically, and then also the rest of the main card as well?
So I'll speak on the Holloway fight. I feel like he won 3 straight up. Period. Like at least 3.
First 3 rounds. Yeah.
Volkanovski won 1 round. And that was the last round because you got to go out aggressively. The 4th round, I believe, was like a tie. So I gave Volkanovski that round just because I'm like, you give him a round because he did fight that round. But that was just ridiculous. Like even the outroar on Twitter and Instagram was like, Holloway got robbed. And not only did he get robbed of like just this match, but even like a trilogy, because if he would have won, then Volkanovski would have had a rematch at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
So he basically lost to Volkanovski twice in a row. And so nobody gonna want to see that fight a 3rd time because of the 2 L's on Holloway's record. But I mean, overall, clearly, you can go on YouTube and watch the fight and see Holloway won that fight. It was actually it was pretty clear, even without looking at the cards. So it's just ironic because earlier in the group meeting, I said I hadn't seen a controversial fight, and yes, there was a controversial fight.
So always have to see. Except when you say ball game. That's when he did.
Complete opposite.
Trevor, I think you watched the fight as well. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I had it scored 3-2 Holloway. I felt that Holloway took the first 3 cleanly. Like Savage said, that the 4th round it could have went either way, but I gave it to Alexandra, and of course he won the last one, obviously, because you got to go all out in the last round to try to win. Just the outroar from that fight, it's crazy. I was even shocked. Like I put "wow" in all caps in the group the moment it was announced.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. This can't be real. But just overall, the card was great. The prelims all the way to the main card. I didn't watch all the prelims, but I caught the main card. But overall, man, kudos to Dana White for that. So I'll pass it to one of you guys to talk about the main event.
Quick comment on the Jan and Aldo fight. Why did the ref?
Oh my God.
The ref not in that fight 2 minutes prior? All you heard was nonstop.
I was in and out of the fights. Like I had it on my TV, but I was like doing other things. But that one specifically, I kept looking up. It's like, bro, this might not stop this fight. Like, why
the blood just all over that?
Ref standing right over the fight.
Yeah, dude, I mean, dude was taking punches to the noggin for a minute and a half. I'm just looking like, hey, like I'm on the couch, like, hey, Ralph, like, hey, come get me. This is a damn fight right here. Like, golly. Now, Savage, my question to you is, I've never seen the ref before. Have you seen him before?
I have. I've seen him
before.
Okay,
I've never seen him before.
I said that you John.
Yeah. So I guess overall, and I guess to go back to the and go to the main event a little bit, the Usman and Masvidal fight.
That wasn't a fight.
Wasn't the most entertaining of fights, but I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to win. And I mean, first of all, shout out credits to Masvidal for taking the fight at the last minute. I think he only had 8 days to specifically train for the fight. Yeah, so I think he's actually a really good fight. He's good. He crazy in the head because that's the only person I've ever seen like laugh and smile and joke and like actually taunt people in an actual fight for the entirety of the fight. So he's a little crazy, but he's a really good fighter. But I think in the day, like Savage said, like retweeted, Usman is just he's technical, like he He knew what he needed to do to win. Like he was getting his butt, he was getting brace beat up from the first round. He did what he needed to do. He grappled with him. He wrestled with him to kind of take Masvidal out of his comfort zone, and that's what led him to the win. Like I said, it was the most entertaining fights, especially at midnight and 1 o'clock. But at the end of the day, I think all of us can attest to say like UFC has come a very, very long way.
The new WWF.
Right, for sure. Right, and I think again, I think you got to give Dana White a credit for a lot of what he like the way he's turned around this league right here. And I think it's good. It's going to do nothing but get better. And UFC 252, that main card has come out. Yeah. And so trust me, you won't be up at 12 o'clock 1 in the morning talking about I wish this was a better fight because we got DC's on that one.
Man,
Daniel Cormier is on that one.
It was almost 1 o'clock.
I'll stay up for that.
Hey, going forward, we'll talk more UFC, like when those main events happen and stuff. I've gotten like inquiries about people who like UFC and watch UFC. So I'm just now
fair warning, we're not UFC specialists. We're new to the custom race.
He said I can't spell UFC.
Give us time.
Yep. So we're working in.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody got trolling now? Not, you got would you rather?
What's the would you rather? Even go to trolling on. I definitely got a trolling on somewhere.
Okay. Would you rather, Skyler?
All right. So I got a would you rather game. I can't remember. I think I remember what it was. But the would you rather is would you rather win? Here you go. Let's do this. Would you rather win an NBA Finals MVP or would you rather be a Super Bowl champion or be the Super Bowl MVP?
That's so tough, man.
Which one would you rather have?
I still don't know that.
Finals MVP or Super Bowl MVP? And of course, both come in and win. Both have to come in and win.
I'll go with NBA Finals MVP because people actually know you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you get to like a game 6 or game 7. You know what I'm saying? I think that's public wise, a lot more people will know you. Like, let's take example, Edelman. He won Super Bowl MVP, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if he was to walk into a mall with a lot of people know him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will know Andre Iguodala. A lot of people will know Kawhi Leonard just based off because the NBA has marketed itself to the point where people actually know the players. So if you got a ring and an MVP, more people will know you. Shoot. Cool.
Yeah. So that's actually my answer for similar reasons. I thought about like Deion Branch won Super Bowl MVP one time.
I didn't even know that.
Right. Exactly. And you just think like NBA, it's a 7-game series. So the best player in that series will win MVP most of the time. If your team wins, of course. And if you don't win, like Andre Iguodala, for instance, you like you said, you're gonna know Andre Iguodala when you walk in. You ain't gonna know Deion Branch. You ain't gonna know who was that guy who won for the Seahawks? Malcolm Smith. The one that picked it. I mean, so for that reason, same as two. Like a 7-game series, the best player is going to win from the winning team. NFL, like even last year, Pat Mahomes won it, but I should make a case that the running back should have got Super Bowl MVP. Honestly, Damian Williams.
I think the lore of the Super Bowl MVP is stronger than the Finals MVP. So, like, if you won Super Bowl MVP, that's the most watched game across the world. So, at least in that moment, everybody knew who you were. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, because everybody's watching it. Kiera watching it, my mama watching it, people at the bar watching it. So, you going to know, like, who that person was. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, either one is fine with me. But I was just I think Super Bowl MVP has a stronger, like, in terms of, like, the history. Like, this guy, he was Super Bowl MVP for, like, 35 or 37 or whatever. Like, I still actually remember, like, you know, Deion Branch winning and Dexter Jackson winning, but that's because I'm a football head. Yeah. But the average person, of course, wouldn't know the Super Bowl MVP, but the average person will watch Super Bowl more than the NBA Finals. So,
totally agree with you. I think just because if I'm just thinking about how glad, excited, like overcome with joy that Pat Mahomes was when he won a Super Bowl. I think that's why I would rather be a Super Bowl MVP. Just because, like Sarah said, like so many people are watching it. Like it's damn near a holiday, right? Yeah. So it's just like, so many people are watching it. So I mean, you're on stage in front of like millions already. So I think that's why I would want to be Super Bowl MVP. Just because, like again, like you're at the you're at the top. Like it's probably one of the most like watched sports about like one of the most viewed sports of the entire year. So I just think that a lot of people will watch it, and I just think that like you become so excited and overcome with joy like when you win.
Yeah. Well, for me, and I do see you guys' points, and of course with the perks of winning Super Bowl MVP in the past, with the whole Disneyland commercial and some Super Bowl MVPs actually winning cars. But I'm actually going to take the Finals MVP on this one because I feel that everybody watches the Super Bowl every single Sunday, and you may know the Super Bowl MVP, but the average person is probably only going to know him for that 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks, it's like, okay, what now? I just think with the Finals MVP, with it now being named after Bill Russell, I think just winning that award, like, just immortalizes you basically from that point on. So, give me Finals MVP, man.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to brag about going to Disney World anyway right now.
Back on the Finals, you got to be the best player like multiple games. Like Super Bowl, it's one great game. Deion Branch, for instance.
We gotta stop bringing that up. Oh my God. I'm over here like Deion Branch is a bum.
Right.
And to my point, what I'm about to make here is the Super Bowl is one game. You have one night to showcase your talent, and it's kind of similar to kind of like what I just wrote about. Like you leave it all on the field, leave it all on the court.
Check out the blog.
Great read.
Awesome read.
You leave it all on the field for that one game, right? But do we talk about who you keep saying? What's his name?
Deion Branch.
We don't know,
right? But turn the script to NBA, right? Like I don't even know who won the Finals MVP for that year. But let's say one of the weaker people to get the Finals MVP over the past, I would say at least a decade, right? Is Andre Iguodala,
Parker, maybe,
right? But we talk bad about AI too, but he was something in Philly, right? Because he was AI too in Philly.
He was something goes.
Now I see it about Hall of Famer. That's a whole different discussion. But I'm gonna tell you no. But more Finals MVP players are first ballot Hall of Famers. I don't care.
That's what I too.
Oh, okay.
That's what people sign up.
And so I think I would rather be like a Finals MVP. And I even think about like last season, the person that got the second most votes actually is starting to have a really great season this upcoming season that we just had, which was Fred VanVleet, not top 10 Lowry.
Who wasn't on this most recent top 10, although it was atrocious. Bleacher Report. We're not going to
Bleacher Report. Oh, they ain't nobody talking about
We're not going to.
I ain't talking about it. They already know.
I'm done with them.
I'm not ready for tonight.
But yeah, I think when you talk about like, you know, longevity and lasting and Hall of Fame type of things, I think the NBA Finals MVP really rings a little bit harder than the Super Bowl MVP.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Oh, you need me to do the trolling on too?
I mean, yeah. Let's go to it.
So,
trolling.
I mean, you really just said one.
Leave it alone.
No,
leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Go to trolling on, please.
Go.
Okay, so listen. There's a report that's been out. This is now maybe like 2.5 weeks old now, right? This player left his team twice, really, and to now play for the Clippers. There was an article out. His name is Paul George. Paul George said the Pacers did not get the best power forward at that time, which also springboarded him to say, hey, I don't want to be here no more. Troll or not, the power forward that Paul George was discussing was Anthony Davis.
What year was this?
The year was 2017.
Anthony Davis saying asked for a trade,
Yeah. He signed. When did he sign with New Orleans? I remember he signed.
When he signed an extension is the real question.
I'll find out.
It was around the time.
Yeah, so it was after. So he didn't sign it.
I know.
He didn't sign anything before this.
Because the first names came to my mind on the Lamarcus Aldridge show, Blake Griffin.
I was thinking Lamarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
And Blake Griffin was about to become a free agent.
Exactly.
Time too. So I was thinking one of them two, like an actual free agent. But
I'm gonna say a troll. I don't think it was AD.
Yeah.
I feel like it was Aldridge because Aldridge would fit with how the East was back then. Whereas like the West was more tempo, the East is more half court. And Aldridge, I mean, we know he'll walk and bucket in the half court. So I'm gonna say it's a troll. I don't think it was AD. And I don't think AD would even stay or want to go to Indiana. But then again, I don't know. Indiana was good back then, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Aldridge is the one I think that would sign with Indiana. He signed like San Antonio. He was the type that when he only need to go to like a LA, New York, big market. He was the type that would have did that.
I guess I'm just going to agree with y'all. Just to disagree with y'all. I'll say it's not a troll, only because AD he's from Chicago, isn't he?
Chicago, yeah.
And Chicago, in that position, and I think he's right. And so I think because the Bulls was on his the Bulls was on his most recent list of like teams I may be interested in going to, and not just because of course it's home. So I think there's some truth to that as far as like he would actually probably wouldn't mind playing either at home or closer to home. So actually, I'll say it's not a trouble.
He averaged 28 and 12 that season, 2 blocks.
It's about the contract.
And then I'm looking for the contract.
Did they make playoffs that year?
The
Pelicans? Yeah.
They won a playoff series.
Yeah, those year they went to second round. Yeah.
They swept the Blazers.
They beat the Blazers when
we got swept by Golden State or lost in 5, 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the contract of this up. I'm sorry.
Trevor and 2.
I'm gonna go.
I said it was
you go try.
because I really felt that that this person, it was actually LaMarcus Aldridge at this point, and I think LaMarcus Aldridge would have been a better fit for what Indiana had at the time, especially if I'm not mistaken. I think this was in 2017. This may have been Miles Turner's rookie season, and he was just starting to come into his own. And I think him and LaMarcus together with PG would have been a nice little combo in Indiana. So I'm gonna say Troll.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Troll too. Definitely LaMarcus Aldridge. We saw the success that Danny Granger and I think Paul George was a part of that team too with Hibbert and David West. And I think if you replace somebody with David West with LA, it's like it's a good team. It's a great team actually. Yeah. So I'm gonna go Troll.
So really it's twofold. It's really not a troll based on the name of the player.
Yeah.
But it's a troll based on I think who he was talking about at that point. Because I don't think AD was wanting out in New Orleans at that point. That he had just signed the extension.
Yeah, that was the year him and
Boogie were together.
Yeah,
they was running rock shot.
This has been like Cousins hadn't signed yet.
Yeah, right. And this is before he left to sign with Golden State. Yeah.
He got hurt that year. That was when he tore the ACL.
Yep. The game against Houston, I remember watching that game.
Right.
The Rockets that were not scared of in the playoffs, right, Scott?
At all.
They've been the same since.
Is that also the year that they went head up against the Pacers went against the Heat?
No, not
that year. That year they was playing the Cavs. They got swept by the Cavs.
Swept by Cleveland, yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
when Paul George got mad when CJ Miles took the last shot.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Paul George like 15 on game winning shot.
But to that point though, that's another year that Frank Vogel got beat by LeBron. But now they teammates.
Hey, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what I'm saying.
Jason Kidd.
Dang.
No, Jason Kidd beat LeBron, didn't it?
Yes.
Unfortunately, Dirk beat us.
We go to
Dirk was on stage.
We go to it another day. Anybody else got one?
I got one more. Would you rather? It was one.
Let's do it. Would you rather?
So would you rather? I think we should discuss that in group tape. My bad. Sorry.
That was a good time.
Okay, sure. My bad. All right. So would you rather be a fan of a college football program that consistently wins 9 or 10? That gets 9 or 10 wins a year, and you probably have one national championship in your program history, or would you rather be a fan of a football program that just out of nowhere just skyrocketed? Like, I mean, you went from like 2 wins to like 10, 11, and then you in the national championship game, won the national championship game, only for it to be vacated from you a year or two later due to recruiting violations.
Give me the championship. I mean, I saw it.
Mhm.
You can do what you want. Talking about vacate. If I physically saw you win the championship, you won that championship. So
It's the case of when the Tigers went to the championship and they tried to vacate our championship or whatever. We went.
Back.
We went. Derrick Rose still went number 1 the next season. So,
So you asking me, would I rather be Notre Dame or USC? I'll be USC. No, who care about Notre Dame? Nobody. Give me my Reggie Bush. Give me my Matt Leinart. Give me my Lindell White. I'll take my W. You can't. Those memories last forever.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the only reason I asked, and I don't want to speak I don't want to speak on this at all, but let's just say hypothetically speaking, the Memphis Tigers just, I don't know, ended up in the national championship game, won the national championship game.
You know you, Musa.
Yeah. And he got vacated like a year too later. I think Sharky said, like, I think like if I saw you do it happened. Then plus to be a fan of a college football or basketball team and you win the entire thing, like you win the national championship, like that's a lot. Like you're on cloud nine. That's when like classes getting canceled. Those are also memories too that you think about, like when you become 30, 40 years old and you're like, oh yeah, I remember when we won the national championship. We may not say we won it, but I was there. There we won it. So
yeah.
Like they took Louisville championship basketball a couple years ago and they took that away. I'm like, well, they won the championship. They won championship.
Did you ask this question because you're a Memphis Tigers fan and a fan of the Crimson Tide?
We're not talking about that.
Okay. I was just clarifying.
I'm a Memphis Tiger fan first because I have apparel of the Memphis Tigers. I have no Alabama.
Went to school there. It doesn't count.
All right, Trevor and what was your
well, I'll go against the grain. I actually would rather have the team that's consistent for 9 to 10 years and eventually breaks through for one, because obviously that's the staff that you have on is consistent of what they're doing. They're actually going out and recruiting the guys. That's not only that can potentially be, but it's actually going to fit into a system. And I'd rather be, like I said, I'd rather have 10 straight years of winning 10 plus games and I break through once than just the one. Because like you said, the memories may last, but at the end of the day, it still got vacated. Like the one that stands and it sticks.
I didn't phrase it right. I should have said for the team that
the
team. I should have phrased it to say the team that broke, not the team that broke through, but the team that just like skyrocketed out of nowhere. The program just skyrocketed out of nowhere. You won. I guess you won 2 national championships. So you went like back to back, or you won like 2 in the course of 3 years. I guess that's why like he.
So the team who consistently good, they still win one.
Yeah, they win.
I take them then.
Eventually. Sorry, I'm sorry. That was like.
I take them then. I thought they didn't win at all. I take them then.
Nah, man. My thing, everybody cheat, bro.
Right. Yeah.
My thing with that one, and if they still win in that case, you're good for 10 years. Otherwise, the other one, you're good for 4 years, and you probably win 2. Then you're like, sorry, the other 6. Yeah, I prefer the 10.
Like Tennessee.
Yeah, because once that title is vacated, that hurts recruiting.
I said like Tennessee winning like 97 and then just don't do nothing since then.
Exactly. You go shoot. He's privileged.
We're not talking to you, sir.
No, so
Ohio State.
Yeah, and I actually
you got to worry about this.
I've actually thoroughly enjoyed being here in Memphis and watching the rise of Memphis, honestly. Because when you get to those seasons where you're like winning 10 games or 11 games, but you're not winning the championship game, or you're not winning the game that actually get to be the conference champion or the actual championship, your season failed.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And so, yes, the recruiting is still there, but if you don't, in football, you can't lose a game. You can lose a game in basketball, but you can't lose a game in college football.
Alabama.
Yeah. And Skyler will tell you about Alabama. But in the Louisville, I'd rather like, okay, out of nowhere, we just took over, right? And well, I'm sitting here in Memphis. So I actually prefer the Memphis route as opposed to Ohio State, actually. Different than what y'all would think.
Good answer, man.
Nice.
Look at you.
Teaching how to be the man.
One day at a time.
All right, man.
Man.
That was a great episode. If y'all haven't checked out the new blog released yesterday by Sheedy, what's the name of the blog?
Man, I was about to say.
Leave it out on the field, yeah.
Leave it all on the field of court. That's not what I was about to say. But yeah, check it out, man. This is a great read. What we've been a great job doing is coming from a different aspect of just sports. And so we always provide you just a different angle of how to look at things. And please, please, please keep tuned because we have many more ideas that we want to share with you all. But it starts with you tuning in with us right now, looking into our blogs and what we've been doing. We don't just do this on Sunday and record and post on Monday or Tuesday. We work week around. So check us out.
Yeah. Before we end off, me and Tuke had the pleasure of hopping on the Zoom call yesterday with Memphis Association of Black Journalists. And they had a panel with Evan Barnes and Commercial Appeal, Doc Holliday for Local 24's, Anthony Sane, Sports Illustrated, Sharon Brown from Memphis Flyer, and Tiffany Green from ESPN. And it was a very great discussion. It too.
Good talk. It was just good to just sit back and listen, to the real Black professionals of sports, in the city of Memphis. You know what I'm saying? And just to be able to make those connects. And they're definitely looking for members. So I think I may go ahead and pay that $30. And
I am too.
I think with that.
I'll show you. Yeah. All right, man. Anybody else got anything?
Oh, the guy that's commenting, Wendell Blue. Let me tell you something. Them Bengals ain't gonna go above 4-2.
Bengals.
I said what I said.
Imagine being a Bengals fan. Bro.
I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah, they outside of Cincinnati.
I do.
Exactly, outside Cincinnati.
All right, man. Till next time. Peace.
Stay black.
Peace.
Black Lives Matter. Peace.
Free Roach.